Hello, Tyler.
Yes.
Whoa, hello. We got you. Okay, so this is Tyler.
Yes, it is.
You're calling from the 310, which I recognize as Los Angeles.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
To Monica.
Yes. You've been listening to the program for a while, or is this your first episode?
I have. I've been watching for quite some time. I think maybe the first one I tuned in was around, I think it was the Mark Sister episode.
Ah, and do you have a favorite episode?
You know, I really liked that episode. I got a lot out of what he was kind of describing and talking about team building and the importance of team and, you know, in contrast to other VCs, etc.
Good, good. You have a favorite segment on the program? Perhaps Tyler's Insights?
Definitely insights from Tyler.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Everybody loves those. Okay, so you know the rules of the game. You're going to have 60 seconds. You will explain. There's no pressure, aside from the fact that Brad's invested in 300 companies, and yours could be 301 or not. There's no pressure except for the fact that there are 500 people watching live, and 25,000 people will listen to this in the next month. There's no pressure there. And there's no pressure for the fact that this will be recorded forever if you do a horrible job. And for all eternity, there will be a blog post with your name on it, with your pitch and your video there. Are you ready to do it?
I am. It's 30 seconds or 60 seconds?
A full 60 seconds, but if you end early, that's always good too.
Bonus points for being shorter.
Yes.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, 3, 2, go.
All right. Thanks, Jason. So the problem Mingly is trying to solve is that vital follow-up opportunities with your contacts are often missed in today's avalanche of emails and tweets and other social network updates. So Mingly's solution is an online personal assistant / to-do list that actively reminds you to reach out to your highest priority connections and gives you the relevant reasons to do so, kind of by pushing you information like Google Alerts that are of interest to your contacts. As a result, you're building more meaningful relationships and creating social capital. So if anyone's familiar with books like, you know, Dave Carnegie's book as well as Keith Ferrazzi's Never Eat Alone, it's critical to be constantly pinging contacts and connections and connecting with them personally. So that's basically the overview of Mingly.
Okay, so you did it very quickly. There were things in there that I was nodding my head with. The only thing I didn't get out of it exactly, because I get the sense that this is some kind of a plug-in for Outlook or a web-based service that helps me keep track of the people I've sent email to and sort of do relationship building, but you didn't get to how it manifests itself. So how does it manifest itself?
Okay, so Mingly is a kind of like a to-do list, a dashboard, that is also extended through a widget, which will have some sort of Gmail overlay, and also potentially a Facebook app, and eventually Outlook plugin. But basically, it lives kind of self-contained in this widget as well as dashboard, and you know it connects to these Google contacts to monitor new contacts you make, as well as email that's been sent or received, as well as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn.
Okay, so I will ask everybody in the chat room to rate your ability to present on a scale of 1 to 10, and I'll ask them to rate your idea on a 1 to 10. And so everybody who's in the chat room just rate pitch equals 1 score, and idea equals another score. And you're getting 6s and 7s across the board, a couple of 4s. So that's pretty good for a first shot. Brad, what do you think of the pitch? If he told you this at a conference, you got your 30 seconds, would you want to hear more?
So I would be interested in hearing more because I'd ask you more questions. With one caveat, which is in recognizing that you're pitching over the telephone, you're very stiff sounding, so kind of scripted. You were careful with words. You had a couple adjectives in there that were kind of long, and I don't remember which ones they were. But kind of the idea, it didn't feel like you had internalized your thing and you were totally passionate about it. It felt more like you were trying to get a very well-defined message across. And for me, and I think for most people in that sort of first 30 seconds, having it tight is good, but having it real is equally important. I want to feel your emotion about the excitement of the idea. So that didn't feel like it was coming across to me.
That's kind of like Japanese jazz.
I think we got another T-shirt. It's kind of like Japanese jazz. It's like a wheelchair at Disneyland.
Right.
Tyler, it's kind of like Japanese jazz?
Yes.
That's a great insight.
Yes.
Wow. Somebody working the track. We lost Alex is going to work in New York. lost the timing. So whoever is going to be doing the show going forward, this weekend I would like you to do 100 insights from Tyler. Say 5 Hail Marys as well. So explain what you mean by it's kind of like Japanese jazz, right?
Japanese jazz.
Just so you know,
Yes.
I know that in Tyler's mind that metaphor is
means
all you need to
something.
say,
Yes.
but to the rest of us,
Yes.
we're confused.
Right.
Everybody's dumbfounded in here. So explain what you mean.
Japanese jazz. Japanese are very technical.
Yes.
And they take something and they will do it in golf in the same way. They get very masterful about the technique and the exact right way to hit the ball and the right way to hit the notes but yet Ornette Coleman and Parker and Miles Davis, all these guys.
It doesn't have soul.
Right, you got to have that real, it's you, it's coming from you and feeling that passion. And that's different than a technically good pitch. I think this was technically, textbook, very good pitch. But it missed that X factor soul, which Brad was referring to.
Well, and it's, an instructive example at Techstars, we do this thing that makes everybody batshit, which is that every time somebody new comes in the room, all 10 companies give their elevator pitch. So every time a new mentor shows up, every time there's a new evening event for the first couple of weeks, and it makes you it makes not the mentors. The mentors find it valuable. The entrepreneurs, for the first couple of times, you're embarrassed, you're uncomfortable, you don't have the words quite right,
you're incomprehensible,
or you forget your memorized script. And, but by about the 20 or 30th time that you're sort of extemporaneously doing it, all of a sudden you click into a totally different gear. And you no longer think about the words, you no longer think specifically about what you're saying, but instead you're really comfortable with it. And what I think from just pure pitch perspective, the more you wear your idea, the more it fits you and you're really comfortable with it, the easier it is for somebody like me to say, tell me more. Versus
you believe it.
Yeah, I want to know more about what you're thinking. I may not be in love with it yet, but I'm kind of in love with your excitement about it.
This is something I used to tell people after I did Silicon Alley Reporter magazine, which was you have to be the brand. You have to live the brand. I would wear a Silicon Alley Reporter t-shirt every day. I would drop off the magazines. You would never see me without a stack of magazines in my hand. I would be taking pictures for the magazine. You got to live it. And so there's a little disconnect between your product and you living it. But putting that aside,
let's talk about the product.
Let's talk about the product for a second, because I am fascinated by relationship management and CRM. And I was using for a while Getting Things Done for Gmail. So I do think there's an opportunity here to make the unlimited Gmail and the unlimited communications work more effectively. How does your product work?
Okay, so the kind of the key to all of this is driving all this noise, all this avalanche of information, filtering it and then deriving it into the to-do list. So it's basically generating alerts. Like the dashboard essentially is a to-do list with alerts that have been generated either because you haven't communicated with that person over a certain period of time. It could be that I just met someone, I added them on Facebook, we automatically detect that and say, hey, you should send a follow-up, note that this is a good contact to follow up with. Because usually and I personally actually came to the problem because I'd meet great people, but just, never, the follow-up didn't happen because I got busy or distracted or whatever it was. So how it works, again, is it monitors these networks, prompts you to follow up with, if it's been more than a certain period of time, as well as gives you, Google Alert type alerts on relevant information about that person. And I should say, hey, Jason, this is an article that might be interesting about that Canon. Would you get the 70 or the
D7?
I don't know if you have a Nikon, but okay.
If you looked at Blippy, you would know. Yes, the D7. I got the D7. Right.
Got it. Okay.
So I understand. So you have these alerts that look and say, hey, you haven't spoken to Jason in a while. You met him at this party 6 months ago. He just bought a D7 camera. He just put up these pictures of his kids. It's a good idea. It's going to be a lot in the execution. I think you're going to scare people by saying to-do list, because that is something that people have been working on since 1983 or 84 with Sidekick on Windows, and it's never really become a business, to-do lists. That's like a feature of a product. So, and there was also a company called Zobni that was at TechCrunch 40 that did email analysis and tried to do this, like these are the people you get emails from on the largest percentage, these are the people who you were getting emails from a year ago, and people were very excited about that function. So even just an analysis of my email telling me week by week who are the top 5 people I was communicating with would be really interesting to me, and I could scroll through that because there might have been like 10 investors I talked to about Mahalo in the A round, the B round, now, and I don't even remember.
Yeah. So one of the things that I toss in, I'm an investor in a company called Gist, which has what you're describing sounds like a subset of what they're providing. They're sort of in the same general domain that Zobni is in. There's also a Techstars company called Filterbox, which was just bought by a company called Jive, that does essentially social media monitoring against individual people. There's a lot of people that have dealt with the monitoring side of the equation, and it's very, very complex. And so I think you have two pieces you have to kind of figure out where you're going to spend your time. One is living within the applications and the stream of the emails or the messages that you're using to determine who your contacts that you need to have interactions with are. And the second side of the problem is actually doing all the mining of the data that exists in real time on the internet, whether it's web-based data or Twitter-based data or something else, and linking it up to all those people. Those are kind of two big separate problems, and I'd encourage you to focus on one or the other as the starting point.
Awesome. So you got a lot of good feedback there. Everybody can go follow you. You have a Twitter account, which is getmingly, Mingly, and your domain name is ming.ly.
Tyler, do you have something up and running at this point, or is it still just an idea?
We have a prototype that's been built, and our alpha is scheduled to be coming out in the next 30 to 60 days. We're going to be presenting as a show-off at TwistUp, and that's the kind of roadmap at this point.
Send me an email when you have the alpha up and there's something I can play with.
Yep. Awesome. Great job, Tyler. Very good.